Spoiler alert. Please be advised that the following will contain spoilers for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Hello, boys and girls. Why don't you join me in a fun little song? 1 and a 2 and a you about to lose your shield. You about to lose your shield. You about to lose your shield. What's up, everybody? It's me, E-Man from E-Man's Movie Reviews. My goodness, episode 4 of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Wow! A lot. So much stuff. Oh my god, the action. The Wakanda. We have to just get to it. It's so much to talk about. During a flashback, we travel back to the world of Wakanda 6 years ago and see Io working with Bucky to help deprogram him from the Hydra brainwashing. Despite reciting the words, Bucky does not revert back to the Winter Soldier, and he is indeed free. Back in the present, Io gives Bucky only 8 hours to give up Zemo. First and foremost, Wakanda forever. But did y'all notice how Io was perfectly calm in the event of Bucky turning into the Winter Soldier? Like, Bucky was nervous and stuff. He was like, hey man, I might revert back. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And she was just like, it is cool. You won't do nothing. I got this. Look, the fact that a whole Dora Milaje is cool with a super soldier going crazy and they can still be like, whatever. It's cool. We got that. You ain't about to do nothing around here. I love the Dora Milaje. I love them so much. But anyway, going back, Bucky had mentioned in this scene that, Zemo was just a means to the end. And, like I've been saying earlier on, this is going to be a recurring theme throughout this entire series. Remember back when Zemo was reading Machiavelli, this is starting to become much more prominent subject matter for the show, and that is relating to the concept of the philosophical question of, do the means justify the ends? And Bucky is perfectly okay with the means justifying the ends, even if that means compromising his character or some of their other values. And this theme does play out in a number of different characters like Karli, Zemo, and Sam. But we'll see more of that later. Bucky joins the group and lets them know that the Wakandans are back. He also informs them about Karli's bombing and the fact that other people were killed in the process. Zemo says that she's a supremacist and that she will not stop until they actually kill her. He blames the serum as corrupting people, although Steve Rogers appeared to be the only exception. Once again, Zemo is out here dropping some very interesting logic here. He's called Karli a supremacist, and by definition, a supremacist is a person who believes that a particular group, especially one determined by race, religion, or sex, is superior and should therefore dominate society. To him, it's a warped aspiration that is shared by the Nazis, Ultron, and even the Avengers. And he's not terribly wrong. The common thread between the Nazis, Ultron, and Avengers is the fact that they believe that they know what's best for humanity. And we saw this play out in Civil War. I mean, think about the Sokovia Accords, for example. This was like an agreement that multiple countries around the world all agreed upon, but you had some of the Avengers actually thinking, nah, we not about to do that because we feel like we know better when it comes to making certain decisions in terms of saving the world. And they just didn't want to be tied down by, government bureaucracies and regulations. Now, obviously, Nazis and Ultron, they also thought that they had a better, view for humanity, but they went about it in a much more jacked up way. Now, Karli is getting dangerously close to being a supremacist because her and the Flag Smashers, they feel like they are superior enough to make decisions on how the world should be. Recall that her plan was to give more serums to people so that they could rule, in a sense, and take the power back for those that have been disenfranchised after the blip. Now, Zemo was talking about how the serum leads someone to this belief of supremacy. And to a certain degree, he's right, but then he's also kind of wrong, right? Now, if you recall in the past videos, I kind of talked about how Steve Rogers has the perfect balance of the super soldier serum. But the other component of that is that he also has like the best heart too, right? Because if you go back to the first Captain America movie, you saw the original scientist that came up with the serum. He could have given it to other people, but he was saying like the serum has the property of bringing forth whatever's already there. So it amplifies whatever's already in a person, which means you could have given it to like some other soldier, but if that person is greedy, then they're going to be more greedy. If they're, a bigot, they're going to become even more of a bigot. So that's what kind of made Steve Rogers so good, because he just had a good heart and a good moral compass. So obviously the serum amplified that through his person. And all the other side versions of the serum, it always led people, especially in the comics, down a terrible path, because they would have like these mental breakdowns or just become mentally unstable in some way, shape, or form. And honestly, you can kind of look at Bucky and he's kind of there too. So I think that's kind of where Zemo gets it wrong, because let's say someone like Sam got the serum, because Sam is considered to also be a good man, similar to Steve Rogers, he might actually turn out just fine. Moving on, Sam actually mentioned his TT here, which, if you're unfamiliar, this is a common term used in the black community for one's aunt, Aunt T, TT. And I just thought that was just a friendly reminder by the show to be like, hey guys, Sam's black. Okay, thanks, we get it. Karli and the Flag Smashers listen to the news as they are now being portrayed as terrorists due to their car bombing that injured many people and killed others. At the GRC resettlement camp, Zemo leads Bucky and Sam into an area to gather more information. No one wanted to speak with Sam or Bucky about Danya Madani. Zemo, on the other hand, goes full stranger danger mode as he offers candy to little kids for information. The little girl immediately forgets every after-school program she's ever watched and gave Zemo all the info he needed about the upcoming funeral. Zemo withholds the information as leverage to remain a valuable asset to Sam and Bucky. Now, I know I joke about the whole stranger danger thing, even though it was kind of creepy. But, you know what? On the flip side, Zemo is a Baron, and maybe, he's like a man of the people, and he's just kind of showing the fact that, like, he knows how to relate to people. But I'm sorry, it still looks kind of creepy that you're out here giving candy to little kids. Just saying. But on the other side, we also have Sam here talking to that teacher. And, we learn another side of this whole blip thing. Actually, it was more confirmation of what was talked about before. And that was the fact that the GRC has been withholding resources from all these people that have been misplaced from the blip or after the blip. And it's kind of like, man, this is kind of, adding a little bit more credence to what Karli's fighting for. Now, if I had to guess, by the time this series is over, Sam is probably going to end up taking up the shield and becoming the new Captain America. However, what we're seeing here is the foundation of Sam's future moral code as a hero. This is actually no different than the self-discovery path that Steve Rogers had to go through during the Captain America Winter Soldier movie. So I think we should really just kind of pay attention to like all the little things that Sam is learning and the things that he's kind of expressing as his ideas, because I feel like it's all going to feed into how he's going to be a different type of Captain America with a much more nuanced approach and view on things. Back in the apartment, Sam relates to Bucky how jacked up the GRC has been to the people in the relocation camps. He's becoming more sympathetic and understanding to Karli's motivations. He later gives Sharon Carter a call to ask for some help. She said that she might have access to a satellite or two to help them survey the GRC camp during the funeral. She also said that the power broker was real mad when he learned about Dr. Nagel's death. Just a couple quick things here. In this scene, you hear Bucky actually say that the ends justify the means here. And again, I just want you to pay attention that this is going to be a reoccurring theme. Also, I thought it was actually pretty funny when Sam called out Zemo's, head tilting thing, and Zemo fixed that neck real quick. But we got to talk about Sharon real quick. Okay, so I think there are a couple possibilities here that could be at play. The first possibility, which I think is probably less likely now, but we don't know. She could be the power broker, right? She could be the power broker. Maybe this is all misdirection. Maybe she's saying the power broker is a he. Maybe she's just doing that so nobody really notices that it's actually her. Personally, I thought it was kind of interesting that she was walking through, that crowd of like goons or whatever, armed soldiers or armed people. Looks like she's running things to me. However, the second possibility is maybe she's working for the power broker. That could also be the case as well. Now, there have been rumors out there that it could be Zola. And if you recall, that was one of the Hydra villains or scientists that became a computer AI in Captain America the Winter Soldier. The actor, I believe, was supposed to be coming into the show, but we just have to wait and see. Now, the third option here is the fact that maybe Sharon is actually working undercover. She said that the Avengers didn't come and get her. She also said that, the government wasn't about to help her because she'll be arrested if she goes back. Maybe she's working for Nick Fury and Sword. I mean, having access to a satellite sounds like something a Sword agent could definitely have, and maybe if she's working for Fury, that would explain why she's so deep undercover. If anyone could help her go off the grid, it would be Nick Fury. He also faked his death and stayed off the grid for a long time. Matter of fact, I don't know, the more I'm thinking about it, I'm kind of leaning towards the option that maybe she could be working undercover, but I don't know. Which one do you think it is? Do you think she is the power broker? Do you think she's working for the power broker? Or do you think maybe she's undercover for Sword or Nick Fury? Let me know your thoughts. Meanwhile, at the graveyard, Karli and her associate gathered the super soldier serum before they pay their respects at the funeral. We jump back to Captain Kangaroo and his trusty sidekick Lamar as they run up on Bucky and Sam. Sam says that he wants to talk to Karli first since she's currently in a vulnerable state. Walker doesn't like it, but Battleship says to give them a chance. Zemo stays in creep mode and bribes the miner into giving them even more information. Walker handcuffs Zemo to the furnace as he gives Sam 10 minutes to talk to Karli. And I got to say, I love the fact that they are tapping back into this aspect of Sam, of him being a counselor to vets with trauma and stuff. And I honestly thought this was what I had an issue with in the very first couple episodes, because I'm like, why are y'all beefing? Why are y'all having all this stuff? Like, Sam should be used to this. He deals with veterans that have aggression and trauma, and that's Bucky. And then you follow up, like in this same scene, with Bucky saying, like, we're not partners. What? Why? How? Y'all are literally on the same mission together. Sam just saved your life. Okay, like, what are you talking about? This is what I'm saying when I say, like, the whole beef between the two. It's weird, and it feels so manufactured just for the sake of having a buddy cop type of, genre. It does not feel organic, because I'm sorry, if I sit here, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, like, all of it is bad, because, will you move your seat forward? No. Hey, that's funny, that's cool, whatever. I get that. And it made sense in Civil War. But after y'all done fought in Infinity War, and you fought together in Endgame, and y'all are on this mission saving each other's butt and everything, you can't really, like, put all that stuff aside? Like, seriously? I mean, I guess I understand, we can suspend belief here and there. I just think that they could have done a little bit better job. I don't think they have to rely on the beefing between the two. I mean, I'm sorry. If somebody saved my life, I'm putting all beef aside. That's just me. Karli is giving the last words at the funeral and notices Sam watching from above. He ends up speaking one-on-one with Karli, and he starts to make some breakthroughs with her until Diet Captain bursts in and interrupts. She makes a run for it, and a chase ensues. In another room, Zemo shoots her, and she drops all the vials of the super soldier serum. He begins smashing the vials as Karli escapes. Just then, Lieutenant America tosses the shield and knocks out Zemo. He picks up the serum and pockets it for later. Wow, so like during this conversation, we learned some interesting things about the GRC, and it seems as though like these people that were displaced or, that stayed, before the blip, they were living in homes, they were living their lives nice and peaceful for 5 years, and then the government came in and was like, y'all gotta go. And then they just literally just kicked them out, put them on the street. And I gotta say, that is like all kinds of messed up, right? I mean, and this is one of the reasons why I love what this show is doing, because it's taking this very fictional fantasy situation of half of the universe like just disappearing and then reappearing 5 years later. What do you do? Because I'll be honest, I don't have the right answers. I don't know. Like, do you give preference to the person that was there before, but they were gone? Or do you give preference to the people that have been here and they've been chugging along the whole time? That's super hard to really call because we've never dealt with that in real life, right? But I would say regardless of what's going on, like Marvel's doing a pretty good job of painting a very morally gray picture, because everything is not just good and bad, black and white. It really just depends on what side you're on. But I would say that this is definitely painting the government in a very bad light. We already heard from the teacher earlier on that the lack of resources were just not given to them, and now Carly's motivations are sounding a little bit more justified. However, Sam chimes in with the critical fact that innocent people are dying in the process. Unlike in a war where it's two parties coming together in a mutual battle, when you start killing innocent people, it starts to turn into something else, something ugly. And I really found this conversation fascinating because in their conversation, Sam does kind of give way for Carly to pretty much step into the mindset and admit, in a sense, that she has similarities to a supremacist. I mean, she admitted that she was going to build up her own army of super soldiers after all. But another cool thing about this scene is that this also shows us more similarities between Sam and Steve Rogers. If you recall back to Avengers Age of Ultron, remember when Captain America actually met up with the Maximoff twins and he heard their struggle, he heard about, what happened to them in Sokovia and all that, and he was like, yo, I understand and I feel for y'all. I got you. I'm on your side with that, but y'all can't go around killing people. And in the same way, Sam is like, yo, I understand where you're coming from and I agree with you, but I don't like your methods. So this is another example of the ends justifying the means, where Sam is kind of saying hey, I'm with you on the ends, but I'm not down with you on the means. Now, I really think that we need to take a moment and think about Zemo's master plan here. Let's think back all throughout the series so far, starting with the jail scene. He said that he was going to see his work be completed, and that was to really just get rid of all the super soldiers in the world. So all this time, he's been playing around as the cooperative ally, but he's really just using Sam and Bucky to get closer to anyone and anything related to the super soldier serum to destroy it or to kill them. He's already killed Dr. Nagel, he already shot Carly, and he's destroyed most of the vials of the remaining super soldier serum. If you paid close attention to the previous episode, he even turned his head just a little bit as a sign of interest when Isaiah Bradley's name was mentioned by Sam. And let me tell you something, he better not touch Isaiah. You better leave Isaiah alone. As I've mentioned before, Zemo is reading a book by Machiavelli. This is all about the ends justifying the means for him. He will do whatever it takes to accomplish his goal of destroying super soldiers, even if that does include pretending to be the nice guy for now. Look, bottom line, Zemo has been playing chess while everybody else has been playing checkers. Now, as for Walker, Texas Ranger, I knew all this talk about the serum and, the fact that they've been breaking this dude down was going to lead to him actually getting the serum himself, especially the fact that, this was what happens in the comics. He does, end up getting the serum as well. But honestly, I kind of thought that when they showed Zemo crushing all the vials and everything, I thought that, look, because we know Walker is thirsty. Look, I'm just saying, I really thought they was going to have this man licking the floor, just nasty, oh man, I would have laughed so hard if they made that man lick that serum off the floor. Oh my goodness. Carly gets another message from the power broker saying that he wants the serum back or else. Back in the apartment, Zemo asks Sam if he's ever been offered the serum or if he would take it. Sam immediately rejects it. Captain Chad kicks in the door and enters the apartment to take Zemo back to jail. Before anything else could happen, the Dora Milaje drop in for Zemo's capture. Walker made the fatal mistake of touching Io, and it was at this moment that Walker knew that he just messed up. Lamar tried to jump in, but the Dora Milaje reminded him of his roots with an ancestral beating of his own. Bucky and Sam jump in to save the off-brand duo, and they too get dealt with. Sam receives a 4-piece combo for his trouble, and Bucky tries to reason with Io, but she ain't got time for that, as she puts in the cheat code to his arm to literally disarm him. Bucky is shooketh and hurt. Meanwhile, Zemo has escaped. Johnny Boy is on the ground, still hurt as all of his manhood flies out the window. I gotta be honest, I don't think I care about the power broker anymore. I'm just saying, I don't feel the threat, of the power broker. If this is supposed to be the bigger, badder villain, I don't think I care. It's just so much other stuff going on. I'm okay. I don't even care who it is anymore. But I do still want to know Sharon's involvement, one way or another, like how she fits into it. But as for the actual power broker, I'm just like, I don't know if I care. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Let me know what you think. Now, going to Zemo's question to Sam, I really like the fact that Sam actually answered the way that he did. Because I think too many people get caught up in the super soldier serum and the superpower aspect of whoever has the shield. But if you notice with Steve Rogers, it was always about who can live up to what the shield represents the most. That's why Sam was picked over Bucky. As we will also see later on, just because you have super soldier powers does not make you a good symbol for America or to the shield. The super soldier serum is just a nice bonus, but the most important thing is the heart of the person who's repping it. So big ups to Sam for being the good man that Steve believed him to be. But let's talk about the Dora Milaje. Woo! Oh my God, this has to be my favorite MCU scene right now. Oh my God, for these TV series, this one wins. I must have watched this thing 8 times just in a row. I loved every bit of it. Y'all better stop. Don't play with these Dora Milaje. Ooh, they gave Sam about 4 licks and he was done for the whole fight. But they gave my man Lamar a 20-piece combo and a biscuit from Popeyes with no drink. They choked the mess out that man. Couldn't even breathe. But my goodness, the level of precision from these women. Throwing that spear with laser-like accuracy through the shield while this man's arm was still in it. They damn near filed his nails at the same time. Stop playing with the Dora Milaje. Ooh, and then that shield stomped him. Do you see that? I've only seen Steve Rogers and Taskmaster do that. Ooh, the Dora Milaje, boy, they was like, man, this shield, this vibranium, it's all. Played with this when I was a kid. What? They're like, man, we been stomping on vibranium shields. Man, give me this shield. Man, and Io putting in that up, down, left, right, select, start, A-B cheat code on Bucky's arm. Ooh, my man Bucky was looking too hurt. He was like, oh, my arm. Why you do my arm like that? Why? I mean, it's not their fault that Bucky didn't read the owner's manual. You didn't know that the arm could come off? Come on, bro. It's a fake arm. Anyway, no, but in all seriousness, that look between the two, I thought it was a pretty cool little moment between them, because Bucky was never really trying to really hurt them or anything. He was just trying to stop them and reason with them and all that. And I think to a certain degree, that's kind of what happened too. Like, they disarmed him. They didn't try to hurt him like that. But to, just to talk about like the look between the, Io and Bucky, I think that's just like a warrior to warrior thing, because think about it, like we saw in the flashback, Wakanda did this for you, Wakanda, we cured your brain, we gave you a brand new shiny arm and all this, and you still stepping in our way, it's kind of like, I don't know if you want to call it an act of betrayal in a sense, but like, I feel like both of them were kind of hurt, like Io was sitting here like, yo, what this means to us. We had one job and that was to protect the king and we failed at that. That's their identity as Dora Milaje, is to protect the king or queen or whoever. That's it. That's all that they do in their lives. And the fact that they failed really takes a hit at their identity. So, capturing Zemo and making sure justice prevails is something that is super important to them. So when Bucky stands in the way of that, even if it is for understandable, situations or whatever, for them, it's like, yo, this is important to us though. We need Zemo to pay for the crime that he did. And on the other side for Bucky, it's kind of like, dang, man, like I thought we was cool. Like, you just gonna disarm me like that, but it's just what it is. Hey, Bucky, it could have been worse. So I'm just saying, be happy, bro. Ooh, but yes, Captain Whack got his just desserts today. He was already underestimating them, talking about put down those pointy sticks. Well, he learned today. And I'm sorry, I'm not buying that whole like, oh, but they weren't even super soldiers. Nah, I think what he really was thinking was like, I just got my butt whooped by some black women that he thought were primitives with they pointy sticks and stuff. That's when all the manhood was just like, oh. He just kind of broke down just like that. And as we'll see later, that's clearly going to push him to even more extremes. But I have got to say, this has got to be one of my favorite MCU scenes. It just screams out in Wakanda, "What Wakanda giveth, Wakanda can taketh away." Made me want to go play that Kendrick Lamar Humble. Be humble. Now, during the most recent live that we all did about the reaction to this episode, I saw some people actually asking the question about why is it that Bucky and Sam jumped into the fight. Well, I think the simplest answer is that Walker and Lamar, they was gonna die, okay? Them Dora Milaje, they don't care. You know, they do not play around. What did my girl Io say? The Dora Milaje have jurisdiction wherever the Dora Milaje find themselves? Man, you know, Io be dropping these bombs. You remember the first time we saw Io, she told Black Widow, "Move, or you shall be moved." Oh, you don't play with the Dora Milaje. But I'm just saying, they was gonna kill them boys. You know, so that's why Sam and Bucky was like, hey, y'all can whoop them, just don't kill them. Because if you also think about it, they might actually have diplomatic immunity and can't nobody do nothing about it. So I don't know, maybe, but I think that was the simplest answer as to why they jumped in to get their butts whooped as well. But that's why they jumped in to save Captain Whack and Whacker. By the way, Zemo is probably one of the smartest people in this entire show. He saw all this stuff going down, and he was the smartest person to go hide. Now, we jump back to Captain Chad and his sidekick as they recover from their beatings from the motherland. They both admit that they would take the serum without hesitation. We jump to Sarah receiving a phone call from Karli. She threatens Sarah and her kids if Sarah doesn't get a message to Sam for them to meet. Karli later on meets up with Sam to tell him that she wanted him to join her fight. So another quick clarification, some people online I saw were asking like, how does, Karli know where Sarah is, where she lives and stuff like that. If you noticed earlier in the previous episodes, Karli and her followers, she has access to like a bunch of different computers, different resources with all these places and people that are helping her. And she has hackers, available to her as well. Remember, one of the guys was like erasing all their digital footprints and stuff. So that's how she ends up gathering all this information about people. Now, I like this little meeting here because it shows yet another difference between John and Sam. We saw earlier how quick Sam was to refuse taking the serum, while Johnny Appleseed is licking his chops ready to inject that serum. I did appreciate the small moment with Walker talking about his medals of honor. I mean, for those of us that are civilians or not familiar with being in the military, it might seem cool to get these awards, but some people probably don't realize what it takes for veterans to actually earn those medals. It's usually due to a terrible situation or something that's really traumatic. And I love the scene here with Sarah too. Even though the main characters of the show really haven't gone deep into racial issues that the writers promised, her character probably goes at it the most. She said that not only didn't she choose this current Captain America, but that her world doesn't matter to America either. So why would she care about its mascot? Now that I thought was really powerful. And I think she was kind of speaking to how, like, as a minority, she doesn't feel included in the grand vision or the grand American dream the way that the country likes to portray itself. It also speaks to yet another perspective on the same symbol when it comes to the shield or the mantle of Captain America. While other Americans might look up at the shield one way, those who feel oppressed or left out won't look at it the same light. And this shares in similarities in the real world situation with people's views of the flag and the whole Colin Kaepernick ordeal. One group might look at the flag as a symbol of hope and pride and prosperity, and the other group is reminded of the atrocities, injustices, and oppression that still persists. As Karli meets up with Sam, Captain Can't Do Right and Battlestar burst in. They start going after the Flag Smashers, but Lamar is captured. Walker starts fighting with one of the Flag Smashers and bends a metal pipe, revealing that he's taken the super soldier serum. A huge fight breaks out. Karli was about to end Walker until Battlestar jumped in to stop her. She punches him into a column and apparently kills him. The battle stops and everyone runs away. With Lamar's apparent death, John hunts down the remaining Flag Smasher and kills him in front of the entire world. Ooh, man. So it looks like Captain Whack just went to Captain Crack because the Dora Milaje beat that man so bad that he had to end up juicing just to keep up. Now, I thought this fight was actually pretty solid, but of course, you already know my favorite part, they gave my man Bucky a knife. Woo, that man came over and said, ching, 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 ching. No, I couldn't find my butter knife, but it's all good. I got the screwdriver this time. But ooh, Bucky was like, woo, ching, 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 ooh. They need to give that man a knife like in Winter Soldier, because he was a beast with it. Oh my God, I was too geeked. Ah! But we got to bring it down a little bit. Lamar Hoskins passed away. I gotta say, look, we was, having a good time with the Battlestar and the, battleship jokes and all that, but this felt kind of deep, and I do believe that he actually passed away only because if you listen to the audio description, it's like a setting on Disney Plus when you're watching, it actually said that Lamar's lifeless body just was there. So I'm thinking that he actually passed away. But this is definitely going to be an interesting situation, especially when it comes for Walker. I mean, if you think about it, Lamar was kind of like the grounding element for Walker's character. Kind of like how Vision was for Wanda. Without Lamar there, Walker loses a valuable moral compass. And I mean, when we're talking about like the final scene here, this is clearly like one of the darkest scenes in the MCU like series so far. Maybe even some of the movies. I don't know, but this got real messed up fast. And I mean, talk about the irony here. The guy who used to look up to Captain America as a kid, you get killed off by the bootleg version? I also thought this scene was very similar to when Black Panther was hunting down Ulysses Klaue, and he had the same opportunity to kill him in front of the entire world, and he held back. But you know what, I gotta say that I think that this scene here also carries a lot of symbolism here too. For one, this definitely shares similarities in police brutality where you have a person in a position of authority deciding to be judge, jury, and executioner. Then you have the other element of the whole world is watching, which I believe is also the title of this episode. This is similar to events like the George Floyd murder where many people witnessed the death happen. But if you notice, the blood on the shield, I thought that was also symbolic of the blood on America's hands. I mean, historically, that's always been the case with America, where things aren't as peachy keen as we'd like to imagine, but nevertheless, that is America. So what does this all mean going forward? Well, I mean, I know one thing is I've always said that I think Sam is going to end up getting the shield by the time this is all done. This event might actually prompt that to happen. But when you look at the beginning of the series, I think what we're actually getting is an image of what Steve Rogers was like as Captain America, what John Walker is like, and we're going to start seeing what Sam would be like as Captain America if he gets the shield. Now, it is possible that this goes in another direction. Remember, this is all about perspectives. We might see the government try and spin all of this. Don't forget that just earlier, all over the news, the Flag Smashers have been pegged as violent terrorists. The government and other Americans might just look at this death as Captain America taking out another terrorist. This could lead into some nationalistic mode of thinking where people won't care that this death was unnecessary because this was just a fight on terror. But we're just going to have to wait and see how this is all going to play out. So you let me know what you think though. Now, as I mentioned in the last video, the showrunner already said that this show is predominantly going to talk about race. Well, we're 4 episodes in, there are 6 episodes left. That means we're 66% into the show, and I think it's safe to say that that's clearly not the case. Now, the show has sprinkled in little elements of race here and there, but the main characters have yet to really engage with it. At least, not yet anyway. Maybe it'll all build up in the final episode. Maybe Sam will get the shield and somebody will spray paint the N-word on it. I don't know, but we'll just have to wait and see. But I will say that I'm very happy with everything else that this show has brought forth. I mean, I like how they're dealing with these themes. I like the social issues. The action is on point as well. And they're adding more depth to the MCU overall. So these are all very, very positive things that I absolutely love. And of course, y'all already know you could give me more Wakanda and Dora Milaje any day of the week. But I will say also, this still kind of feels like the Bucky and Zemo show featuring Sam Wilson. I need more Sam. I'm sorry. If he's supposed to be the lead, I want more. I love that moment with the counseling and stuff. And I'm like, yo, can we get some more flashbacks for Sam? I mean, we're getting flashbacks for Bucky. Can we get some for Sam too? I want to know, what made Sam Sam, And I'm still waiting for Sam to actually go back and have a nice conversation with Isaiah Bradley. But again, hey, we're going to wait and see what happens. But hey, that's just my opinion and that's just my take. What did you think about this episode and what were your favorite moments? Let me know in the comments down below. And what are you looking forward to in the next couple episodes? Because keep in mind, we only got 2 episodes left. So with that in mind, don't forget, every Friday we are going to be back here, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. We're doing live reactions to the latest episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We always have a good time. Y'all do not want to miss these things. I'm telling you, come and join the fun so we can react and talk about all the spoilery stuff that happens in that episode on that Friday. And hey, if you're new here and this is your first time visiting the channel, thanks for stopping by. I'd welcome you to watch some of my other videos. You can always watch the replay of the live videos as well. It's still really good stuff. The chats are always hilarious and the comments are gold. So I would definitely implore you to do that and go check out some of my other videos as well. And if you like what you see, subscribe and tell a friend about the channel too. Anyway, I thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my video. I really do appreciate it. In the meantime, I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.